Well, welcome everybody. My name is Nate Ivy. I'm part of the California Environmental Literacy Initiative's District Innovation Hub. And you are here for our webinar series. We offer webinars once a month in the spring to share best practices around the state related to environmental and climate literacy, and how districts can move forward in those areas. And we're really happy today to have folks from the Energy Coalition and Laguna Beach Unified School District to share about the Energy is Everything program that is available to most classrooms in the state of California for free. And then how that project has led to some engagement with Laguna Beach's sustainability plans, and provided opportunities for student input. Next slide. Again, I'm Nate Ivy, a member of the District Innovation Hub. I'm also an instructional coach in Fremont Unified School District. And on the next slide, we'd like to know just a little bit about you. This map continues to grow and expand. Paulina will drop in the chat a link that will give you an opportunity to add yourself to the map if this is the first time you're joining us. If you've been here before, you might explore and see where and who is joining from around the state to help grow our network. Um, if you've been before and your role has changed, you can find yourself and update those details. To add yourself to our map, click the magenta colored plus button in the bottom right-hand corner of the Padlet, and then you can add a marker indicating your location. It helps us really get a picture of this statewide network of people who are working to implement environmental literacy around the state of California. While you do that, I'll tell you a little bit more about the California Environmental Literacy Initiative and the District Innovation Hub. So next slide. Um, the California Environmental Literacy Initiative is created to help implement California's blueprint for environmental literacy and to live up to a promise to ensure that every student in the state of California has access to high quality, meaningful environmental learning experiences. In the District Innovation Hub, we aim to help that goal by thinking of school districts as one of the most important levers of change and one of the most important systems that can guarantee access to the students it serves. In our hub, in order to help advance this goal, we hope to build a community of practitioners. This webinar helps us to reach folks around the state and invite you into this work and hopefully give you a space to learn, to grow, and then also to share your ideas. We hope to curate and share environmental literacy resources, and that's a big focus of today's session. Some great free resources to help engage students in understanding energy, water, and other resource use around the state. We also work to increase the capacity of districts to take these efforts system-wide. And to do that, we try to bring together examples that showcase leading edge exemplars. And we have a nice example from Laguna Beach today and their efforts to develop a sustainability plan for their district. So let's move on to the next slide because we're also joined by members from the California Environmental Literacies Initiative's Green Career Education Initiative. Green careers are the jobs of the future. Every career is going to have a sustainability dimension, and sustainability careers are a fast-growing sector. So it's really important that as a state, we develop an environmentally literate workforce, and support all students in gaining the skills, awareness, opportunity, and wherewithal to consider these green careers. So we'll learn a little bit more about that in today's webinar, but it'll be the entire focus of our May webinar, so stay tuned for that. Next slide. In our work in the District Innovation Hub, we really try to think about systemic approaches where we can move from, that first stepping stone of that one classroom or that incredible teacher, that amazing PTA at that one school and that one location that really cares an awful lot about this, to trying to figure out how do we do this and make this guarantee available for every student at every school in every classroom in our school districts. So there's a number of systems approach models. Probably the one most familiar and has been in the news recently is the California Green Ribbon Schools program, which thinks about reducing environmental impacts and costs, improving health and well-being, and guaranteeing access to environmental sustainability education. Other models include the 4Cs model: campus, curriculum, community, and culture, as key levers to promote system-wide implementation in a district. And the Green Schools Initiative, with their beautiful flower image that I encourage you to dig into more in the future. So let's move on to the next slide, and we'll go through the agenda and get this turned over to our presenters, who I'm sure you're eager to hear from. So we just did some welcomes and connections. We're going to hear kicking off about Laguna Beach's sustainability plan. Laguna Beach you'll hear more about them. They're a district in Southern California. They've been doing a ton of work to implement sustainability and environmental education district-wide. They'll tell us a little bit about those programs as context for hearing about a statewide program from the Energy Coalition and its particular implementation at one of Laguna Beach's middle schools, and the way that those students then have re-engaged with the district's sustainability plan. We'll have a little bit of time for question and answer. Of course, you're always welcome to throw your question in the chat. The presenters will be monitoring the chat and might be able to answer in the chat live. We'll do a closeout at about 5 o'clock, and then we invite you to stay on for breakout room discussions so that you can have a more in-depth conversation to learn more about Laguna Beach's sustainability plan or the Energy Coalition's programs or the amazing efforts that have happened at Thurston Middle School. All right, so let's move on to the next slide, and let me introduce our presenters. Today you'll be hearing from Siria Salas. She's with the Energy Coalition and a program manager who will give us an overview of the wide array of free educational programs available to classrooms across the state. Anna Straczewski will share about the particular implementation at Thurston Middle School in Laguna Beach. But first, we're going to hear from Glo Harwood, who's the co-chair of the California Environmental Literacy Initiative's District Innovation Hub and the coordinator of environmental literacy for Laguna Beach School District, to tell us about the sustainability plan in Laguna Beach. Glo, take it away.
Thank you, Nate. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to connect with you guys with all the great work that Energy Coalition has provided for Laguna Beach Unified, and a little bit about our district. We are super small in Southern Orange County, and we're 4 schools, about 2,300 students, 2 elementary, 1 middle school, and 1 high school. And we take the environment very seriously in the form of context of learning and connections to facilities and instruction. So whatever we're doing as far as systems upgrades, facility upgrades, we want to make sure that it's a learning experience, that the students are involved with every process of any plan that we make. And how we structure our sustainability plan is based upon the green ribbon 3 goals that Nate mentioned just a few minutes ago. And we recently just found out that we are a Green Achiever school district from the, yeah, so really cool. I'm so stoked. And a lot of that is owed to key partnerships such as the Energy Coalition and the Energy is Everything program. So I really hope that you take what Cedia and Anna chat about, and it's a really great way to incorporate instructional design in energy. So we have 3 overarching goals. The first one is reducing environmental impacts and costs. The second one is improving health and wellness in students of staff. And then the third is providing effective environmental education to all classrooms. And again, these are structured around the 3 green ribbon goals. We have 18 total targets from in all those 3 goals. Today, we're going to be focusing on energy, but I'm also going to share out some other partnerships that we have that can hit on the other strategic targets as well. And if we go to the next slide. So goal 1, we often think that this is more facilities based, that we leave this for operations, we leave this for maintenance and business, but really reducing environmental impacts and costs, the reason why we're doing it in our school district is because it benefits the students. We want to make sure that anything that we do, we put the students first. And so whether that's benefiting their, their health, but also what are they learning as we make these changes? And so with goal one, looking at energy efficiency, looking at solar systems or solar and BESS systems and energy reduction, we used Anna with the Energy is Everything in our green team group. And so she'll share about her experience with the Eco Club and our green team lead at Thurston Middle School. And you can see a photo right here in the upper left-hand corner of her teaching one of the lessons. But we also work a lot with public organizations such as OC Waste and Recycling, because we are part of Orange County, Laguna Beach County Water District, Poseidon Education, OC Public Works, and we really want to make sure that we have good relationships with our public agencies as well, because they want to get involved in our student learning and they provide a lot of great experiences from that. So like Poseidon Education is funded by OC Public Works. So yeah, if you don't mind skipping to the next slide. So this is something that we're launching in Laguna. This is our prototype, and we are pretty much done with it. And we've already uh, gave out some professional learning opportunities to our secondary teams. But we just released a sustainability tracking and dashboard. And we're using Tableau to make the data visualizations. And this was a huge effort between our technology team, facilities, and also instruction to make sure that this is not just for community to see how we're doing in energy efficiency and gas and water and also waste, but also this is really going to be used as a form of learning. Teachers using this data to create place-based learning, solutionary-based learning, and we have our own problems within our own backyard. We don't have to look at other universities or other states or other, it's within our own utility bills that we can find problems and then create solutions that students can design to eventually maybe affect what we're investing in. And Anna's going to share that out with students speaking at a February board meeting because we currently have an energy master plan that it's in its final review. And right now we're just trying to get our budget approved for it. And we've had the final report done, the complete audit done by P2S. And right now we're unsure if we're going to have it approved for the budget. So we had students speak at a recent board meeting, and what a great way to get some civic action done in your school district. But in order to get that, to have students feeling confident about speaking in front of that board meeting was packed that night. We typically don't have large board meetings because we're such a small school district, but I think Anna can say that it was shoulder to shoulder that night, and it was pouring rain. It was a very traumatic evening, but it was just so great to hear. I think there was 12 total students speak about the urgency of this because we only have one school with solar. And we're a little bit behind as far as facilities in solar. So I always say it's kind of like when you're teaching and you're teaching about healthy eating habits. And while you're teaching the students about eat more fruits and vegetables and you're eating a big cheeseburger in front of them, you want to make sure that what you're teaching in science or teaching in your data class, that you also have the infrastructure matched up to it. So using student voices to make sure that the students want this and they see the impact that it makes on carbon reduction and also it's being fiscally responsible for our school district. So this sustainability dashboard helps us track our energy use, but then also use it as a form of learning. All right, if you go to the next slide. And then for goal two, this is improving health and wellness of students and staff. And we use a lot of our outdoor learning spaces to meet our goal. We have three gardens, about to be four gardens. So both at our elementary schools, we have great gardens. They're massive, and we're really proud of them. And our middle school has a garden. Also, we're implementing one at the high school. But these are just some of the partnerships we use to make sure that students are having their time outside, using their schoolyard as a laboratory of learning. And we also just created a framework on nature therapy for our social emotional learning teams. We just had a great event last week. We partner with UCI in this research. So if you're local to Orange County, UCI is developing their own nature wellness stations with the pharmacology department. So um, I really recommend reaching out to UCI. They are great and they love sharing their data on how nature is a form of prescription to become a happier person, decrease rates of depression or symptoms of anxiety, and using that more as a holistic approach for social emotional learning. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. And then goal three, which I want to shout out our partnership with Cali, is providing effective environmental education to all students. So with that is my role in providing professional learning. We've done 16 green gatherings, which is a lunchtime event for environmental literacy. We have our unit design days. We have instructional design within our learner profile. We also have environmental leadership. Every site has a green team lead, and which does have a stipend attached to it. And then we also have our FLOW program that stands for Fire, Land, Ocean, Water at the high school. We just recently launched the California State Seal of Civic Engagement, which students who participated in the board presentation with Energy is Everything are receiving a recognition because if they're in eighth grade. So a lot of those students were sixth and seventh grade, but we had one eighth grade student, and he's getting recognized tonight at the OCDE Civic Award ceremony, which I will have to run off after this call to go see him get his award. But he earned that award based on the civic action of working with Energy is Everything. And then also tying in that instructional design with AB 285 climate literacy and green career education is a huge target for us. And a lot of that support comes again from Cali. We work with Green Schools National Network. We're a sustaining partner with them. And then we have our Ed Foundation School Power. And we do work closely with OCDE on a lot of the work that we do, and TenTrans, as well as kind of what's going on in the state of sustainability and environmental literacy. So I think that might be it on my end, just to give a brief context of Laguna, but I'm really going to pass it off to Cedia and Anna because they were the ones getting connected with the kids and designing the lessons and seeing the engagement. And I just got to see the end product of it all. So
Thank you, Gloria. That was fantastic. And we were really excited to work with Laguna Beach and are really excited to be showcasing the work that we do. So hi again. I'm going to share our program, Energy is Everything, and how it can come to you all. But first, a little bit about the Energy Coalition. We are a nonprofit. We operate across the entire state of California in a few different key service areas, from funding strategies all the way to program design, marketing and outreach, as well as policy. And then, of course, our education and workforce development, which is where Energy is Everything kind of lives. Giving you an overview of the program, our mission is really to inspire students to make sustainability a part of their everyday lives. We realize that you can tell a kid to turn the lights off 10,000 times a day, and until they believe it, and until they really take ownership of that action, it's not going to create a change. And you're just going to get red in the face trying to tell them to turn off that light when you leave the room, until they really it becomes their thing and it becomes an action that they're really proud of and part of their everyday. That's when you start to see the change. And they are probably more apt to be on us to say, hey, mom, you didn't turn off the light, or hey, dad, you didn't turn off the light, or so and so didn't turn off the light when they left the room. It starts with our students. It starts with the students from kinder all the way up, and even our toddlers. We really want to inspire change not only at the school sites, but in our homes and our communities. And so energy is everything, really. That is the mission. Um, a little insight, it is a TK to 12th grade program. And so we do work across the entire state of California with all of our TK and 12th grade educators. We enroll you enroll with us and receive the NGSS aligned and environmentally STEM focused lessons. It is a full curriculum that is available to you. We offer lesson supplies with just about every single one of our lessons, very hands-on. We also do online resources for at-home learning, as well as additional and supplemental to the curriculum. And then you get staff support and co-teaching, which is what Laguna Beach really took advantage of with Anna coming out into the sites and working with students directly in the classroom, co-teaching, and creating a little bit more of a mentorship experience with the students. Our Energy Fellows come from our Sustainability Service Corps program, and they serve about 1 year terms. And I'm sure Anna can jump into a little bit more of that when she starts presenting, but they are wonderful because they are just out of college, a lot of them, or getting their master's degrees. Students relate really well to our Energy Fellows because they see themselves in these people. They're able to see success in the environmental fields, success in education, and see it from someone who looks like them, talks like them, and isn't as old as some of us as educators are, which really helps them see what's available to them. Our goals with Energy is Everything is, one, to increase student literacy in environmental concepts around energy, natural resources, the environmental sciences, engineering, design, sustainable behaviors, and of course, all of the STEM fields. We want to introduce students to the student energy actions, which I'll touch on at the end of my slides. And again, building and adopting those pro-environmental behaviors in our students. We want to teach students about high-value energy careers. And again, I will touch on this a little bit more in the end, but every single one of our lessons is a career exploration and showcase. Every single lesson, they not only learn the skills for that lesson, but then it connects it to a real life professional job, everything from the TK all the way to the 12th grade. And so we're in the TK, maybe they're learning about solar circuitry. They'll have a solar installer as their career showcased, and I might have them walking around their community and counting solar panels, just getting them familiar with the things that are happening around them. Where for a 12th grade student, it will also include things like how many jobs are going to be available in that field? What is the average pay in that field annually? Everybody wants to know about the money. And so really making that connection for students between the career pathways that are available and the skills that they're learning in the classroom and how those two connect. Finally, we want to incorporate career concepts for all learners. And since educators, when it comes to energy and science in general, especially for the TK6 educators, sometimes science is scary. And so we really want to build that confidence in our educators, giving them turnkey lessons that they can just implement right away. We add educator content background with some helpful background information of the things you might get asked about this topic, just to build their confidence, build their knowledge base, as well as the skills that they have, and really build on, again, those high demand energy careers that are available and the pathways that are going to take their students there. Our funding partners are statewide. It's you and me and every one of us in this room. Anybody who pays into electrical and gas, it goes into our investor-owned utilities under public goods and services. If you look at your electrical and your gas bill, there's that little line there that says public goods and services comes back to us and to education programs. We get a piece of that. It's overseen by the California Public Utilities Commission, but also is what allows us to be really statewide. Anywhere that is serviced by either San Diego Gas and Electric, SoCal Gas, Southern California Edison, or Pacific Gas and Electric up north, we are able to provide services. And it could be one. So if you're getting your gas from a different provider, or for example, in LA, LADWP provides the power, but you're still getting your gas from SoCal Gas, we are able to provide services to you. So a lot of opportunity. And it brings it to the classroom at no cost. So all of those things I mentioned, the curriculum, the co-teaching opportunities, the lesson supplies, it's all coming to you at no cost because we kind of already prepaid. Again, the statewide reach, K-12 students and really TK-12 students from across all of the service territories of the 4 main utilities. But we also work with formal and informal. So we are not tied to just the classroom. We do work with a lot of after school, out of school programs. In the case of Laguna Beach, we started with the Green Club, for example, which is out of school time, but then trying to transition into the classroom and getting our program in the mainstream day. We also prioritize schools and districts that are classified as disadvantaged, and that can be through either Title I classification, if they classify for 40% or above on free and reduced price meals, or FRPM, if they're located in a zip code that scores in the top 25th percentile of CalEnviro Screen, which is an amazing tool and resource. If you're not using it, go into it. It gives you a bunch of demographic data about the zip code, everything from how many people, population density, jobs, how many factories, how many pollutants, how many parks, how many green spaces. All of this wonderful information is aggregated. And unfortunately, those in the top 25th percentile, we do want to bring services to. They're usually the most underserved, and those that are classified as rural as a final classifier. So we do work with across the street. If you don't meet one of these, doesn't mean we won't bring services to you, but we do prioritize those that do. And I think most of the ones in this room probably do in one way or another. Looking at the program offering as its own, we have over 190 lessons. They are all STEAM-based. They are all standards aligned. They are all divided into this modular kind of system where you can choose either by grade level. So we have the 4 grade level denominations of TK2, 3, 5, 6, 8, and 9, 12, or by topic. So if you're having like a renewables month, or you're looking at solar for the month, or you're looking at water for the month, or waste, it's your waste month. You can choose the lessons that are particular to that topic or particular to a specific grade level. And you as the educator have the reins on the programming and the lessons. So you pick and choose really what you want to do and how you want to accomplish the learning. As I mentioned, everything is aligned to next generation science standards per grade level. We also align with the California Environmental Principles and Concepts, which hopefully most of you are familiar with, a set of 5 principles with subline concepts, anywhere from 3 to 5 for each, all about how we interact with the systems in the world, how we affect them, how they affect us, that no system is black and white lines don't mix. Nope, that's not the case. Everything is interconnected, and we all have effects on each other. And then for our upper grades, middle school and above, we do align with the career technical education standards as well for middle school and high school. Our implementation process is really simple. Basically, educators can complete the enrollment form. So it can be a educator by educator basis enrollment, or district-wide. If you want to do that, we can work with you directly to make sure that everything comes off without a hitch. But it's a district-wide educator enrollment, excuse me. They have an orientation training to learn about all of the requirements, kind of how the program works, what they can choose, how they can choose lessons. We help with the instructional planning and all the extras. There's a family welcome packet because we want to include the family. We want to include the home life to ensure students and their families are aware of what's coming, the learning that they're about to do, and how they can get involved. Educators order lessons from us, and basically it's the most fun part because they get to go shopping for all these wonderful lessons and all the supplies that are going to come to them, and it doesn't cost them anything. Their little shopping cart says zero at the end. There is a pre-teaching survey, which is our first actual requirement for the program. They teach the kickoff lesson, which introduces the student energy actions, which again, I'll touch on in a bit. They receive their lesson supplies at that point, which at that point, they can then start teaching the actual lessons. We require 4 hours of lessons, 4 hours of instructions, which usually applies to 4 lessons. Sometimes it could be 2, sometimes it could be 3, but that's our minimum requirements, just 4 lessons. We have 290. So it's pretty easy to do. It's really simple to get with the program and reach all the requirements. We do have a reflection and feedback survey where educators can give us immediate feedback, get support, tell us what really worked with the lesson, tell us what didn't work with the lesson. And we're able to make those changes on an annual basis and sometimes immediately for educators because we are a small team. We are working directly on all the lessons. We're not this big organization that's got to go through a whole verification system and 10 people to be able to get one thing done on a curriculum. We really work directly with everything and all the lessons. And although we do have a very extensive verification system, it really is helpful to hear from the people that are putting the lessons into play, what's working, what's not working, and making those changes to better the curriculum on an annual basis, if not sooner. And then our final requirement of the 4 is that post-teaching survey and program evaluation. Let us know what you really thought. We like to hear it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it just helps us improve and helps us make changes so that it's the best for our educators in California. And we can put all of the learning and all of the feedback together in a student learning report, and then an educator can re-enroll. Very, very simple. As I mentioned, the student energy actions are kind of one of our foundational pieces. Again, thinking about greenhouse gases, climate change, and environmental topics, there's always this sense of gloom and doom, and the polar bears are running out of ice, and what can I do? And not using a straw isn't going to do anything. The student energy actions is our way of having students feel empowered. It's showing them at least 7 actions. Each of the letters stands for something, everything from adjusting their time of use, caring for the air, initiating change, or shaping their future through thinking about jobs that they can have and how they can make them sustainable. Being a chef can be a sustainable job if they are, sourcing their food from a sustainable place if they're using local farmers. You can be a sustainable doctor thinking about the sustainable practices that you're using. Every single profession that you can think of can be sustainable, can be green. And that's a little of what drives our Green Career Initiative as well, is making those connections for students, that it's not just environmental and green jobs. When we think of those, we think of tree huggers and tree planters and things that are outdoorsy, really bringing it to the students as you can really make any job an environmental job if you have the right mindset and the right ideas. So the student energy actions, it is our kickoff lesson, and it is something that every single student learns. It's part of every single lesson as well, embedded in the program. Again, the career connections is a huge part of our program as well. And so we have the My Future Energy Career, which is embedded into every single lesson as a handout. Again, from TK all the way to 12th grade, they are learning about a career that aligns with the skills that was taught in the lesson. We also have videos, we have career explorations, we have webinars that we do and we run. If you're looking for a career person, professional for a career day, for a presentation, and it's a really strong niche kind of spot, reach out to us. We probably have someone who can help. We, as an organization, work across the state with quite a few different energy providers, regional energy networks as well. And so we have a lot of contacts both within the education programs that we run and without, and from outside of them. So a lot of those virtual or in-person classroom speakers, which is amazing for y'all. And again, the handouts and videos are all available to students. As an addition, we do have a career and technical education pathway within the energy, environment, and utilities. But we also align really well with those that are already in existence. Any of your environmental engineering, green building. We also work really well with your AP courses, with environmental sciences, etc. Just a really great fit with the lessons as foundationals, as fillers. Again, we're not this program that's going to come and take over your science course, but we are a wonderful supplemental course for students and a wonderful resource for your educators. Internships, which we do offer for our juniors and seniors in high school. So if we have any 9-12 school districts out there today, we do offer a 10-week 4-module internship program for them. It's a fully virtual system, which is wonderful again because they can be anywhere and still doing and working as we do. Our organization after the pandemic went fully virtual. We are coming into the office as needed. And so we figured why not push that through for our students and in the internship. They are working just as we are. They are using Slack, they are using email, they communicate with a scope lead, they have check-ins on a weekly basis with their supervisor, and they're learning all these wonderful skills, everything from Esri ArcGIS workshops. They are participating in My Energy Future career webinars, learning about professionals. They do home energy and water data collection as well as analysis. They're creating story maps on ArcGIS. They are creating equity reports about their communities and their zip codes. So a lot of learning that's happening through the internships. And finally, transitioning to Anna a bit here, but the Junior Energy Manager certification, which is for middle school and high school. And this is how Thurston Middle School kind of came to us and started working with us, and then Laguna Beach Unified as a whole. It provides students with the knowledge and skills, again, around energy and water auditing, how to create conservation action plans, how to create campus-wide action plans, as well as home action plans. They're getting the opportunity to be actively engaged with every single thing from math to literacy, reading and writing things. In the case of Thurston, they even got to present at their board meeting, which we are all touching on, but I think Anna will give the full recon of that event. And introducing them to all of these environmental, environmental focused, energy focused careers, which is really at the forefront right now. So yeah, that is a little bit about our program. And with that, I will transition to Anna, who will jump into bring us back towards Laguna Beach and the work that she did there with Thurston Middle School.
Thank you, Syria and Gloria and Nate, for kicking us off. I'm Anna. I'm one of the Energy and Education Fellows at the Energy Coalition, and I had the amazing opportunity of implementing the Energy is Everything certification program at Thurston Middle School. And this school site was a standout site for the implementation of this program based off the connection I was able to make with the students and the teacher, Emily, and also the impact we had on the community. It was fun to see when I walked in and the kids realized I was coming that day. They were like, Miss Anna, Miss Anna. They were so excited to see me. And it was motivating for me because I saw the passion they had and the excitement they had to go through this program. So bringing it back to the beginning, Emily set up a call with me. I enrolled her in the program. I sent her the next step email. She ordered her lesson supplies after she did her pre-survey. And then those supplies were again sent to her at no cost. She picked 2 lessons and then the energy and water audit for that total of 4. So similar guidelines to our normal Energy is Everything, but you have the energy and water audit, which is the main focus of the certification program. And I'll talk more about each lesson next, if we go to the next slide. So the kickoff lesson, as Siri mentioned, introduces you to the student energy action. So my first time with the students in the classroom, we went through this, and every one of our lessons has a hands-on portion to it. So with this lesson, we did a little game with like note cards, and the student energy action was on the card, and then under it was anything you could do to reach that action. So oppose water waste, an example would be turn off the faucet while you're brushing your teeth. So the students would say that, and then they would try to guess the action. So that was my first lesson with the students. And then my next lesson on the next slide, we went through the fueling our lives lesson. So this taught students about the electrical generation process and how that differs when you use renewable energy and non-renewable energy. So this diagram shows the power source as natural gas. So we're using a fossil fuel, and how cutting out that fossil fuel as the power source and switching to renewable energy can cut certain steps out that greatly reduces its environmental impact and our ecological footprint. And then the hands-on lesson for this was the students designed a model, but incorporating renewable energy, and it could be more than one. So solar, a lot of the students incorporated wave energy because the district is so close to the beach. So yeah, they incorporated all of those things into their diagrams. And I only had 30 minutes with these students because I was visiting the Eco Club, the green team. So it was a 30-minute period, I think right after lunch. So I did usually leave them with a few things. I left them with a packet. So this lesson called for more research. So I left them with that, a chart to fill out and some questions to answer so they could continue the process after I left them in the classroom. And then if you can go on to the next slide. Our next lesson was oceans balance, which the students really loved because they were learning this. So it aligned right with their curriculum since they are so close to the beach and the ocean. They learn about ocean acidification and how that can affect the ecosystem. Our climate is warming, and so is the ocean. The ocean acts as a carbon sink, and it absorbs all that carbon, and obviously that affects the ecosystem that calls the ocean home. So in this lesson, after I went through the slides, the hands-on activity was testing different liquids pH. And then, for example, we tested dish soap, lemon juice, and a few other ones. And then we blew bubbles in it to add carbon dioxide and then retested it. And it showed how adding carbon dioxide affects pH levels of different liquids. And then the next slide, we got into the meat of the certification program, which is the water and energy audit. So towards the end of this whole process, we really want students to see where their campus uses water and energy, and they do audits of their entire campus in both water and energy, see where they use that water and energy, and then pinpoint areas where they can reduce that consumption and not only help reduce their environmental impact, but help the campus reduce costs and help out certain staff members that have to deal with that burden as well. So during the water audit, we started with a flow rate experiment, testing out the sinks in Emily's classroom, and her sinks had a very high pressure flow, but obviously that affects how much water you're using, because low flow is better because you're not using as much water. And then I went through how they can audit the campus for water, looking at leaky faucets, that flow rate, and then I left them with the packet so they could audit the campus while I was gone, because this audit doesn't have to be in that 1 hour class period you have. It can take a week or two, and the students can audit the campus in between classes at recess. It can be an ongoing process. And then if you want to go to the next slide. And then we got into the energy audit, which they really liked. So basically in this lesson, we audited just their classroom again. All the calculations and equations are in the lesson plan, so no worries, it's laid out there for you. But basically we added up all of the appliances and lights in the room that were contributing to that room's electrical output. So obviously we had the lights, the TVs, there was a fridge in there, an air purifier, and obviously every classroom is different. So were able to audit that classroom, add everything up, and got that classroom's usage. And then after my 30 minutes with them, the students audited the rest of the campus, and they got really into this. They made a whole spreadsheet, and they were trying to, yeah, really target the educators that had extra personal items in the classroom that were unnecessary. So they really like this activity. And then if you want to go to the next slide. And then with all that, after we saw where the campus uses its water and energy, I came in for another visit, and the students and I created a sustainability action plan together. And then with that, I also talked about how they can relay this message across to all of campus and the community, and how they can really create a whole marketing approach through posters and school announcements over the intercom. But yeah, this was our sustainability action plan. A few that stick out to me were having the ability to have the lights half turned off, because in Emily's room, it was either all on or all off, and the students said it would be nice if there could be like an in-between. And then also installing infrastructure to give more natural light during the day. For example, like skylights, so you wouldn't have to use the lights. And then what we all have kind of been touching on is how this classroom, these lessons really turn into actionable sustainability. So Emily reached out to me, and Gloria was kind of planning this all for the school board meeting. So basically the Energy Master Plan was being presented to the school board for funding. My understanding is that the Energy Master Plan, it's all written out. Most of what is in it is to install infrastructure, more energy efficient infrastructure like HVAC systems, mostly like solar panels on all the school sites. And also I saw in there like a sustainable turf for the high school. So infrastructure that will help the district become more energy efficient is all laid out. And basically the school board just needs to approve the funding. So the students were given the opportunity, and they felt empowered to make this public comment because of the lessons I had been taking them through, and yeah, the knowledge and confidence they gained through going through the Energy is Everything certification program. So it led to a very impactful opportunity for them to impact their community in a positive way for generations to come. So a handful of them gave a public comment at the school board meeting in support of the Energy Master Plan. And then Gloria asked me to prepare and make a public comment in support of the Energy Master Plan and in support of the students. And of course I did. So there was a lot of voices in support of the Energy Master Plan, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, all of this said, this program really has the potential to make a huge impact in your community.
Great. Anna, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the story of Thurston Middle School. And Cyria, thank you so much for giving us a window into the fantastic resources and programs from the Energy Coalition. And for our audience here today, no matter where you live, just that overall message of thinking of your campus, your classroom, the systems that serve those places as real opportunities for students to learn and to engage in the systems around them. We're going to kind of move into a moment of reflection here. There was a lot that came our way today, thinking about everything from TK to 12 to, career awareness to NGSS standards to lobbying your local school district to energy master plans, sustainability systems. There was a lot flowing by in this river of information today. So I want to give you a minute to think about that river of ideas, informations, and stories that just flowed past you. and grab something and put it in your reservoir, put it in your lake, hold on to it. And I'd like you to do that in the chat today. So take a moment and in the chat, share one of your thoughts related to these three questions. What's something you appreciate about this work? So you could share something, an appreciation for one of these ideas, concepts, or examples. You might share a question about this, or you might share an idea or insight into your next step. I also welcome you to make a connection. If there's something that was shared today that resonates with your experience and something you've tried in your context, you could share that in the chat as well. So I'm going to be quiet for a moment while you have an opportunity to think and to add a reflection into the chat. All right. Thank you for kicking us off, Anakia, with the callback to nature therapy, an idea that was shared at the very beginning of this, kind of highlighting how many ideas and topics we've explored today. Nancy calling out the appreciation for thoughtful stipends supporting this work. Lots of interest in the outdoor gardens and the connection to social emotional learning. And then just, connecting to the careers is really amazing. Fantastic. If you're still typing an idea, feel free to add that into the chat. But let's move on to the next slide here, which is our invitation to you to provide us with feedback about this session or suggestions for things you'd like to see in the future. We like to do this kind of at the close of the formal remarks because we know maybe not everybody's going to be able to stick around for the breakout rooms. So Paulina will drop a link into the chat that will give you a chance to give us some feedback on today's session. There's the feedback link. And then let's move into the next slide and we'll talk about our breakout room so you can have an opportunity to dig in more about this. Someone interested in the student energy actions wants to learn more about that. That's great. Perfect timing. This is a great time to throw that into the chat because we're going to have an opportunity to do breakout rooms where you can ask some really targeted conversations or questions and get into deeper conversations to learn more about different aspects of what we heard today. So if you're interested in learning more about Energy Coalition programs, you'll be able to join breakout room number 1. If you want to hear more about the junior energy managers and the work at Thurston Middle School and maybe ask Anna what some of her favorite comments from the students were, you can jump into breakout room 2 where we'll hear more about, you'll have an opportunity to ask more about the Energy is Everything certification programs and the specific effort at Thurston. And then we're really lucky to, or I guess it's kind of mixed luck. It's a little bit to our disadvantage that Glow had to go run off and celebrate her students. We're really glad she's able to do that. Sad for us, fantastic for her. But it did open up a really serendipitous opportunity. We have Tim Baird, who's from both the Green Schools National Network and a former superintendent from Encinitas Unified School District, who's been doing a lot of work supporting Glow and the broader Laguna Beach community. So Tim is really familiar with Laguna Beach's sustainability plan, with their energy work, with their curriculum visioning. So if you have questions about how Laguna Laguna Beach is organized or how kind of thinking about this district system change works, Tim will be in a breakout room 3. If you start out in a breakout room and you have lots of questions and you want to jump around from room to room to room, that's totally fine too. We absolutely invite you to do that. So those will be the 3 breakout rooms. Syria, if you want to just, before we go to breakout rooms, put your last slide up. I know you have a kind of closer slide that has some information about Energy Coalition, and Energy is Everything. You can reach out to Syria both by dropping in on the breakout room or reaching out to her directly at her email here on this slide. So with that, it's really close to 5 o'clock. This is the time where we like to open up the breakout rooms. We'll have breakout rooms open for about a half hour. You can self-select into a room, and we'll close out about 5:25 to give our presenters and staff the opportunity to get home to their families as well. So breakout rooms are open.